Good afternoon, folks. We are live and up and running once again. Let me get everything switched over and loaded up, and we will jump back into Look Outside. Hey, what's up? Probably Fi? Hopefully I'm saying your name right. It must have been a while because I don't recognize your name. Oh, what did your name used to be? Oh, man. Oh, wow. It has been a long time. Hey, good to see you again. Yeah, it has been a while. I hope you've been well. We are still here. We are still grinding away. All right. Fi says you've gained so many followers. Maybe over a long period of time, I guess. I don't really pay too close attention to my follower count. But yes, I do have a new model now. That was at the end of last year. I debuted this model 2.0. It is much more dynamic than my old one. All right. The hair definitely moves a lot more, for sure. I like that I have more dynamic head movement in general. The artist I worked with did a really good job. Okay, so we need to go to basement. We're playing an indie RPG called Look Outside, which is very kind of Lovecraftian cosmic horror, and hopefully we can get to the end today. Yeah, so the game is called Look Outside, and it came out maybe within the last year, and it's a turn-based RPG, and the whole thing takes place in an apartment building. Your main character that you play as is Sam, the dude at the top, and basically something has happened in the world that is affecting the world outside. And anyone who looked outside becomes a sort of horrible, like Cthulhu-esque Lovecraftian nightmare. And sometimes they go insane, and sometimes they retain their humanity, but they're gross monsters. You spend the entirety of the game going through your apartment and figuring out what happened and trying to learn. And you recruit different characters that come and join your apartment and your party along the way. And so based on what we've learned in the story so far, outside was some sort of entity that passed by the planet called the Visitor. We don't know what it looks like because when you look at it, if, for example, not nearby anything, but let me show you. All of the stuff that's going on in the world is related to this entity called the Visitor. I'll backtrack a little bit. Let's go up. Or south and west. This is the basement floor, like a parking garage. Let me just go up to any floor, and I'll explain. We are kind of near the end of the game. I don't know if we're right at the final area, per se, but we're close to the end. The rat guy? Raticate. This is a rat baby we found in one of the rooms earlier on in the game. Just a rat baby. And we had a choice a little bit later for progression to either feed the rat baby to this creature in the wall to get something we needed to move forward, or we could sacrifice one of Sam's arms and keep the baby. Doing so costs us our ability to use melee weapons, and now he just uses ranged guns, essentially. But if you raise the rat baby and feed it and take care of it, then it grows up into, like, an actual functional party member. And so that's why he's on the team. We have Helen, the gardener, who's starts with, like, a Jason mask. She's, like, the physical attacker. We have Papano, the janitor. He's also kind of a physical attacker, and we don't really have a mage, someone who can cast spells. But alright, so you can see here, here's a window. Let's see if it'll give me the prompt. I might have to go back to my room. Yeah. Each area of the apartment complex and each tenant's room kind of functions like a dungeon. Okay, that's Kaylee. And the way it works is you have 15 days, and every time you go into an area, time passes. And then, I don't know what happens at the end of 15 days, but supposedly that's the end of the game. Here, let's see if it'll let me do it over here. It's currently the evening. Okay. So, what happens if you look outside? You die. You get forcefully yeeted out the window, eyeballs first. So don't look outside. There are numerous things throughout the game that, if you're not careful, you can suffer a similar fate of instant death by looking at anything that is a visual representation of this visitor. Again, we don't know what it looks like. But anything that shows its image will have the same effect as looking out the window. So if someone takes a picture of it and you look at the picture, then you die. If someone records video footage of it and you look at the video footage, you die. But we need to get to an NPC that's down here somewhere. I think we have to circle all the way around the garage. And we'll see it as we get into some fights. The sprite work in this game is awesome. Very detailed, like horrible monstrosities. Vi says, I don't know why, it reminds me of an anime I watched. Gachiakuta. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. I've heard good things. Ah, there's Beryl. Okay, our objective here is to find 3 of these astronomers. These are NPCs you encounter through the game, and I have to give each one an offering. And Beryl, she wants... I had to look this up because this is part of the progression. We need to give her the recording? Yes, okay. So she's good now. Oh, I see. Is it kind of like a horror series? Again, I know nothing about it. Okay, we'll backtrack to the elevator. We want to go up to floor 1. The next astronomer is hanging out in there. Ah, I see. I do think the whole concept of like an unknowable entity that will basically undo your existence and there's rules. It's been done in media before, but you can do some pretty interesting things with that concept. This game is very much horror. Horror with like a core focus on turn-based RPG stuff. And a lot of different things you can miss. This is my first run through the game, and I have missed a ton of things. There's a bunch of party members that I haven't been able to recruit, some special dungeons and things, so I'm going to have to play through it again. Alright, we need to find Frederick's room. That is definitely not Frederick's room. That's the worm room. That's the rat room. I'm pretty sure that's where we got the rat baby. This is the room with the entity that we had to feed our arm to. This was our choice. Sacrifice the baby or sacrifice a limb in order to get one of the planetary discs we need to proceed. This area is kind of like a maze. It has sections that seem like they repeat, so I'm going to have to kind of trial and error my way to find the room I want. But it's not infinite. I just can't remember exactly which order all these things show up in. Why didn't I sacrifice the child? I found out just by reading some stuff. I got accidentally spoilered that it can become a party member, and I wanted another party member. Let's see, where is Aurelius? That's the exit sign. This is a character whose quest line I messed up. Her name is Audrey. She's a vending machine, but I can't recruit her as a party member because I messed up the order of events. Okay, let's see. There's something that marks the ground where Frederick's room was. I just don't remember because we did that quest line a long time ago. This one? Yeah, here we go. Okay, so there's a room nearby here. We need to find the second astronomer. There you are, Relius. Okay, or I already gave him his. He has the painting. Okay, that's good. So the last one should be Aster, who's technically become a party member. Pretty much all the enemy encounters are on the map, as opposed to random encounters. So that's why you're not seeing me get into any fights at the moment. I've killed a lot of things. Okay, that repeats. Let's just go to the exit and go up. Alright, we got a hydrate from Phi. Apartment has 4 floors. The rooftop, which we can't go towards because that would mean we look outside. Our apartment's on floor 3. This is floor 2. Or this is floor 1. Floor 2 is another NPC floor. Floor 1, ground floor, and then the basement. Technically that's 5. Oh, what am I drinking? I am drinking a mixture of G Fuel and... Nope, just G Fuel flavors. Alright, here we go. Let's go back to our apartment. Of what? Oh, G Fuel? Like, you know, the powdered mix you mix into water? It's an energy drink. There's 2 competing brands. There's G Fuel, which has different flavors, and then there's Gamer Sups, which is a different brand that does the same thing. I can't really drink highly caffeinated things, so I have the caffeine-free versions, just a bunch of flavors. It's good. They had a Hatsune Miku collab version, so I just mixed that with some lemonade flavor. Alright. Back in our apartment, this is the 3rd astronomer, Aster. And he needs... photograph. Okay, now I need to go to the 4th one, Jasper. Jasper gets the loose manuscript. Oh, I see. Yeah, the G Fuel and Gamer Subs brands have been around for a bit. I like that there's a lot of flavors. Requires me to drink more water. Okay, Jasper's up here. Loose manuscript. This is Jasper. He's the leader of these astronomers. There's 4 of them. We just gave the offerings to the other 3, and now we give him his offering for the visitor. Okay. Let me save. And now let's see what happens when we tell him we want to go to the rooftop. Okay. And right now I think there's still a handful of days left, but we'll just proceed here and see what the actual progression is. Robes. I don't know if we have to put that on, but we will. Now let's take the... I don't know if the elevator goes all the way up to the rooftop. But we'll go. And I guess we're going to find out if our party's level enough to take on whatever final fights there are. And maybe we'll go back to the apartment. We can cook meals and feed them to the party to heal everybody's stats. Should probably do that just to top up. That big no-face looking creature, the shadow, occasionally gives us things. It's a friendly entity. You can choose to be hostile with it, and then it won't come to your apartment and give you things. Okay. What time is it? 5? Yeah, 5:04. Let's see if we can beat the video game before we go up. In addition to exploring the apartment and essentially exploring the dungeons, we can play video games, and it takes up a couple hours of time since the day starts in the morning, and as it progresses, hours pass, then you have to go to sleep, and the day passes to the next. I haven't done a whole lot with these video games, but if you play through them enough times and invest the hours, you unlock skills for your main character, but we haven't technically finished anything yet. So let's see if we can do the last leg for Massacre Princess. Apparently this one takes a bunch of sessions. Oop. Rush and Himiko sit at a tavern planning their next course of action. They want to follow Maldark to get answers and revenge. Himiko says, if we want to find Maldark, we'll need to go through the Cavern of Califaction. We'll need to be careful. Fire monsters block the way. This is your main protag, Rush. Fire monsters, huh? They're no match for me. An old man with a kind of squirrel rabbit thing on his shoulder approaches Rush and Himiko. He wears a wizard's robe and carries a wooden staff. Couldn't help but overhear that you're going after Maldark. Mind if Rabu and I join you? We have an old score to settle. I'm Zalatar. Rabu. No, we won't change his name. This doesn't have any specific gameplay. It's just flavor narrative. Blessing of the Mana Tree be upon you. Oh. The new companions, you set off to the Cavern of Califaction. Unfortunately, the new area has an unbelievable difficulty spike, and you're only able to win 2 or 3 encounters before you have to rest at an inn. You spend a miserable hour grinding. Himiko's water magic is useful, and Zalatar's buffs and debuffs are kind of nice, but Rabu is totally useless. It almost seems like a joke character. Okay. We did not beat it. 2 hours pass. Maybe we see what we can craft, since I think we're going to the last series of fights, I think. We can pick up different things from around the apartment complex, and we can craft stuff with them. Get tonics to heal. Well, that's something new. First aid kit. Okay. make Molotovs. Healing or attacking items. Okay. Okay, let's head up. Let's see what awaits on the rooftop. I am going down. Here. Yep, so no going back. Let's do it. Whoa. You're outside. You don't feel any different. Look at that backdrop. This is what's currently going on outside the apartment. Not concerning at all. Whoa. Shades of old anime Akira. Oh, who's this? Aster? No, Beryl. Can't believe it. We're outside, but we're still human. Sane. It's working. The visitor protects us. He knows. Excited? We're almost there. Moments from making true contact. I brought a little television here to view the VHS tape you found. Let's see. Yes, this is it for my vision. This is exactly right. I knew it. My vision was true. I'll head to the ritual. Meet us there when everything's ready. I can't wait. So if you don't give the right items to these NPCs, then it basically has a split in the progression, and you get a worse ending. I think you have to fight them. Hopefully we did it all right. That is Jasper. Time of judgment is upon us. I hope we are found worthy. Only few preparations remain. It's time to look at the writings you've brought us. Yes, a manuscript. The final lucid thoughts and observations of a writer who saw the visitor firsthand. Yes, I believe this says. Wait, no, it cuts off. The most important page is missing. Stops just as the most crucial part begins. This won't do. Okay, we grabbed the wrong manuscript. Great. Well. Now Jasper's a horrible monster. Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of extra limbs. Okay, well. Okay, well. Let's see if we can talk to Aurelius and Aster. Well, look at that. It's finally time. We're preparing. Oh, I'm shaking with excitement. In this bag is a painting of the visitor. I know it in my heart of hearts. This is a painting of a lighthouse. Is this intended to represent the visitor? Might be symbolic, perhaps? Oh, well, we picked the wrong painting. There's no response from what used to be Aurelius. At least he isn't hostile, so he must have some kind of control over himself, or maybe you're simply beneath his notice. It's like a whole bouquet of insect parts grew out of where his head used to be. They're revolting, sucking mouth parts, tasting the air at the end of each of them. They make you feel very uncomfortable. No way to live? Okay. Ooh, there's another one. Okay, that just leaves Aster. Greetings, compatriot. The time has come to prepare the ritual. I truly believe the visitor's image should be on the photograph. It's nerve-wracking to look, but I must. Oh, there is something on here. Oh my, it's truly him. Photograph of the visitor. I'm in awe. It's even more beautiful than my dream. Very good. Meet me at the ritual site. I have an excellent feeling about this. Hey, we're 2 for 4. So we won't get the good ending, but not the worst ending. 2 astronomers have correctly prepared their offerings. Okay. There's a bunch of endings in this game, which is another reason why I'm going to have to play it more than once. You look up to the sky. All you see is thick, dark clouds above. It's now or never, kiddo. We must now beckon the visitor to look upon us. Oh, it's them looking down. I see. But it's overcast. I can hardly see him through the clouds. Will he see us? Let's get this started then. O strange voyager, we have brought a recording of you. We seek to document you, commune with you. O dark whisperer, we have brought a photograph of you. We seek to understand you, commune with you. We're begging you, listen to us. We look up at you without fear. We ask you to do the same for us. That's a big eyeball. Blessed day, joyful day. It is time. It is time. Oh, now it's just straight into a fight. Okay, let's reload our magnum. What are we attacking? Oh, we're attacking each of them. Yeah, the color mix on the palette is great. Let's see. We'll go attack. Prowl, which will put stock status. Unholy Duet absorbs all light. This is black hole. Ow. Okay, that must be the actual boss. That's pretty funky looking. Alright. We're gonna go multi-shot. I don't know how many rounds this is gonna be. So we're just gonna burn whatever we got. Items, magic, everything. Papano. Share lunch. Once a day, he can heal the entire party for 30%. And we'll have the boy reapply status for Prowl. We'll see how much damage it does. Helen's stab ability, whenever... Oh, it's not on. Whenever the enemy's got stocked status, it does more damage. But I think because it changed forms, it went away. So we'll put it back. $81? Okay, 81 without stock status. Let's go multi-shot one more time. Sam has some leech and heal abilities we can use. Now we go stab. Same thing. Oh, 196. That's pretty good damage. And Helen's sleeping now. Okay, let's wake Helen. We'll have Papano. Bear hug. We'll have the boy follow up with Pounce, which does the same thing as stab. Okay, still real damage. Let's go healing spray. This is group heal. I only have one left. Aw. Okay, this is Leech. Oh, I forgot about this one. We learned this from a video game. 25% life heal, but 25% chance to cause bleeding ailment. But this will just leech. Okay. Phase 1. You run from the roof, leaving the twisted abominations that used to be the astronomers. The ritual was a complete fiasco. It went so very wrong. Was that your fault? You got at least some of it right. This might be your fault. Your heart pounds in your throat. You stagger back to your apartment. Your friends look horrified. I technically only have one hand, but... Ah, you're covered in blood. Right, yeah. You rush to the bathroom to wash your face. You're seeing double. You feel cold. Your heart races. Intense nausea. Is this a heart attack? Maybe shock. It must be shock. You're in shock. Of course you are. Everybody's dead. Everything's gone. It's all over. The ritual thing was a dud. The people who knew the most about this thing are all gone or have lost their minds. But at least you're unharmed. Not. Or not. Ruh-roh. Calm down. You're fine. You're okay. You're not losing your mind. You're okay. Of course this would happen. You've been on the roof. On the roof. You even looked up at the thing. That was so stupid. Arg. Why'd you do that? Okay, chill. This isn't so bad. You can work with this. It's, oh, it's bad. Oh no, it's getting worse. Keep it together. Keep it together. Is it getting worse when you lose your cool? Whatever you do, don't lose your cool. Stay calm. Close your eyes. As long as you can calm down, you can stop this. Deep breath. Count to 10. 1, 2, 3. Don't open your eyes. Don't look. Just count. You can do this. 4, 5, 6. Yes, it's getting much worse. Don't think about it. 7. Changes are slowing down. You can tell this is working. 8, 9, 10. Nice. Oh, I didn't see your question, Fi. The rat has a bunch of combat moves. It can mimic Sam's actions, and it's kind of like a mix of support and attacking. But I was using it to apply that prowl status so Helen could do damage. And that's the ending we got. We became a horrible monster man. Basically, because the ritual failed, we became a horrible monster like everybody else. Francis Colombe. Awesome work in the art. It's a small indie team that made this. Oh, we can speed scroll it. This game is incredibly cool. I did not get a good ending, so I'll have to go back through and see what I missed. Yeah, music was really well done. Very ambient, very creepy. And this game, I don't know how much more updates it's going to get, but it just got one in, I think, January. And a bunch of new things were added, characters, bosses, areas. Oh, and our score is 3850. Okay. Final rating, B. Not bad for a first attempt. Okay, doesn't look like... Is there New Game Plus? Does not look like we can use our clear data. We played it on Explorer, which is quote-unquote easy mode, and it was still pretty decently challenging. Survivor mode, there's limited resources, and I think there's limited saves. And then Curse mode is extremely difficult. I will probably play through it on Explorer again, so I can at least try and get more characters and get a better ending. But yeah, that is Look Outside. If you're curious about what we went through along the way, the archives for the previous streams are on my YouTube channel. You can kind of see where we started and all the different areas and creatures and whatnot that we fought. You didn't really get a good glimpse at all of the really cool sprites and stuff because I only got into one fight at the end. The Cursed mode, that's like super challenging mode for people who want a brutal experience. What we could do, I didn't think I would get through the ending this fast, but let's switch gears to a different game that I was originally going to stream tomorrow, but I'm going to be on a collab instead. And completely different game, but one that will still be fun to talk about. So let's look at Ball Pit. What I can do, I'm going to close this. Give me 1 second. I'll update the stream. And I need to go pull up my music. And we'll look at something else. Entirely different type of game, but one that I've been really enjoying. So let's go pull this up. We'll grab royalty-free playlist for some background music. Update the description. We're now going to switch over to Ball Pit. I asked, do you still do music sometimes? Yep, we still do jam streams. And I'm currently working on a really big music project that's not a BGM pack, but releases have still come out on streaming platforms and on YouTube. And we do beatbox stuff in addition to doing the music brainstorming. So yeah, I try and do them once or twice a month if I have time. Alright, Ball X Pit. Okay, I'm going to have to explain a little bit about this game because this game is completely different than the one we were just playing. This is a different indie game and is similar to Vampire Survivors in its core concept of a roguelite, if you remember Vampire Survivors. We are not a ball in a pit. We are in a pit and we are going to have to use our balls. Alright. The secondary gameplay aspect of Ball Pit is this town building, which is, I'm at kind of the end game now. But we have to build a town in order to unlock things throughout the game and farm resources up here at the top. This is not the main gameplay mode, but this is where we kind of start. And we have different buildings that offer different bonuses, buffs, unlock characters, etc. I'll explain all that in a sec. But I need to harvest first because I need gold. Okay, 0.1k. And this game is, again, roguelite. There's a bunch of different characters we can play as, and I'll break down all of the gameplay stuff. But I have been working on, it was Juggler and Sisyphus. And again, I'll explain what all this means, but we need to pick 2 characters to go into a run in the pit. And I picked the wrong one when I was practicing this the other day. Let's do the grasslands. Basically, there used to be a kingdom here, and a giant meteor from space put this huge pit in the ground. And now we have to explore and go through the pit in order to reclaim everything. And so the core function of the game here, it'll take a bit to explain, but we have different balls that we can unlock and can have up to 5 of them active at any time. Each time we level up, we will roll a new set of things to select, either a ball or a passive. And the passives go in the lower 5 slots right here. The balls that we unlock go up here. And I am going to build for a specific combination that I've been testing. I learned it from a YouTuber, but I gotta remember what I need. So we need cell. Okay. We'll skip that upgrade. This gives us a choice of passives. We'll take the rubber headband, which makes our balls shoot slower, but every time they bounce, they pick up speed. Okay, so I can't pause without pulling the menu up, but in this game, we are scrolling upwards and enemies are spawning in from the top, and we have to use our balls to take them out before they get to the bottom of the screen and actually do damage. Our experience gauge is right here on the left. These glowing crystals give us XP, and then when it tops up, we hit a level. And on the right is our progression. Each exclamation point's a mini boss, and the thing at the top is the zone boss that we get to after we've gone through enough waves of enemies. Okay. So we need Flash, which requires lightning plus light. And with Earthquake, we need Cell. So if you don't like our choices of, it's going to be a random roll of balls or passive items. If we don't like them, we re-roll. we have 4 free rerolls. We want light. And in addition to just random things to unlock and put into our inventory, we can level up the ones to a maximum of 3. That's good. Gem Spring is good. This puts an item on the ground that every time we hit with our balls, it drops experience crystals for us, gems. I really like the sprite design in Ball Pit 2. This is a different company, different developer, but they have these kind of weird, almost horror-looking sprite designs, and I think all the characters look really neat. This thing is the fusion reactor. These drop from enemies every once in a while. When we grab one of these, if we've leveled up our balls to 3 and we have the right combination, we can evolve them to combine them together. This is light plus flash, or light plus lightning. That creates a new ball called Flash, which damages everything on screen and inflicts blind status. And then we have to level this one to 3. It's a brand new one. So we're going to do that. And so each of the characters have their own abilities. Juggler, instead of shooting all of the balls straight in a line, Juggler lobs them in an arc, so you can aim them behind or on top of the enemies. His partner, I think Juggler's a dude. They don't really say. But Makeshift Sisyphus, he ups the damage of area of effect, like lightning or flash. So when you do an area of effect, it does more damage with that character. Okay, we're gonna need another flash. But what I really want is the ball Cell that looks like a blob. This is the gem spring. Every time we hit it, it'll spit out gems for experience. And kind of one of the strategies with this pair is you throw the balls behind the enemy lines and let them bounce and stack up damage. If we don't have anything that can be evolved, if we pick Fission, it gives us 3 to 4 random upgrade levels for what we've got in our inventory, which is just free upgrades. I'll take that. Keep dropping them behind. Okay, max out Flash. We can't upgrade it anymore. Once you have an evolved ball like this, and it's maxed out, and you have any other level 3 ball or an evolved level 3 ball, you can fuse them together to combine their effects and free up a slot for more balls. So you can't, with a couple exceptions, evolve evolved balls, but you can fuse them together to make them even stronger. So you can build some insanely crazy loadouts, which is why this game is so interesting. But I really need Cell. Where is it? Rerolls cost increasingly higher amounts of gold. We've got 100 coins so far. Come on, Cell. Take Magic Staff, that's useful. This passive increases the area of effect. So things like flash, lightning, all that. That's good. There it is. So Cell, every time you shoot this ball, it splits into a clone of itself on hit 3 different times. This needs to combine with Earthquake to get Overgrowth. That's the first, or the next one we need. Okay, first mini boss. stack up the damage, or at least get the balls to drop right behind and they bounce up and down. And that should do a decent amount of damage. Uh-oh, it's gonna hit me. Each time the enemies get to the bottom, they will hit you and do damage, and they will kill you if you don't get rid of them when they hit the bottom like that. Man. Alright, got him. Okay. Now we need to evolve Cell plus Earthquake to get Overgrowth. This one applies a stack status, and as soon as 3 stacks get applied, it does a massive effect to all the enemies in a 3x3 tile. So it builds up and then kind of explodes in like a nuke. If we max level Overgrowth and then fuse it with Flash, then it'll take that status and do it when it hits everything on screen. So now we need to start scaling up our abilities a bit. Okay, we want another lightning. Banish these to get them out of the pool. Silver Blindfold increases crit chance to 30% when hitting blinded enemies. Yeah, we could take that. Okay, the green numbers are Overgrowth going off when it procs. Now, because we have maxed out Flash and maxed out Overgrowth, we could fuse them together to combine their effects and free up a slot. This particular build strategy that I learned from watching a YouTuber involves getting Flash and combining it with a bunch of really high damage other abilities to nuke everything on screen. Fi says, you're really good at explaining. Oh, thank you. I try to at least make it kind of clear what we're doing in games like this. That way, it makes sense to people that are watching. So I do my best. If I'm not explaining something clearly, then definitely let me know and I'll try and explain further. Okay, we need lightning. We can combine something with freeze, I guess. We can get Banished Flame. That should be freeze plus fire. Okay, we could do that. We just need to leave a slot to be able to get lightning to fuse to get the next Flash. And we did not get it. Take the free level. Now, refresh my memory, Fi, because again, it's been a while. Are you in our Discord? I think I might have sent it to you back before you changed your name. So if so, no worries. But I just wanted to make sure since you've been part of our community for a while. Okay, I can link it here. And then you can just check. It is one word, isn't it? There we go. Right. That neither of these are helpful. Great. Have to wait. Yeah, no problem. Our community is very chill. And I'm sure you recognize a lot of the usual players that hang around here. Oh, your dog is watching. Hello, dog. What's your dog's name? Tammy. Hello, Tammy. Wow, we're getting really unlucky with our rolls. Okay, just have to wait to get more money. She react to the weird anime boy talking out of the computer screen. Phone screen, gotcha. Getting close to the boss, and I'm kind of having bad luck with getting specific balls, but it's okay because we're doing a boatload of damage. You can see the waves getting nuked as soon as the balls bounce a little bit and overgrowth goes off. So DPS is looking good, but luck could be better. There it is. Okay, so we can get another flash. That's good. But I think we'll have to take care of the boss. We won't get another fusion reactor until we get past it. This is Sabertooth. It's like a big cart with kind of these kobolds in it. And it's going to try and run us over. Not too bad as long as we don't get pinned. Oh boy, that's exactly what I wanted to avoid. Okay, just keep dodging around. Stack up damage. So don't miss what I'm doing on screen. If I ask, you can cook? I can cook. It used to be my job a long time ago. I was a cook for about 7 years before I got the job that I have now. Alright, boss is done. And so in the Space Food channel on our Discord, you'll see some of the things that I cook. And yeah, I got into gardening a couple years ago. I've been growing herbs and Looking forward to the warm season so I can put my habanero plant back out so I can hopefully make more hot sauce. Okay. So we beat the boss. We can either go back to town, but what we want to do is we want to go endless and keep building our loadout. As far as what type of cook? Not a fancy cook. I wasn't a chef. I was a line cook in a large-scale food services kitchen. Specifically, I cooked for a vegetarian station and learned a lot of good recipes. Alright. No, let's wait. Let's wait to fuse up. We want to evolve Flash. Do right here. But yeah, I can see some of the stuff that I've cooked and put pictures in that channel. And other things that folks from the community have cooked. Okay, here's our second Flash. And we want to combine that one with Hemorrhage. Or we can get Vanished Flame. That would be fine too. Okay, Lightning, that works. Or we could go Lightning, we can go Blizzard. That might actually work better. Blizzard plus Flash. But we also need Hemorrhage, which is Bleed plus Iron. Okay, we do need this one. But we need to free up a slot by fusing these two. Okay. That's actually good. And we'll need to get one more passive at some point. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're in European time zone, so it is late for you. Okay, so the way it works in endless mode, the game keeps going, we keep fighting increasingly stronger waves of enemies and mini-bosses, and the point is to try and get as far down depth-wise as possible in meters here. So that's why we need to keep building out our loadout of balls, because the enemies will get stronger and stronger as we go. But the whole fun of Ball Pit is coming up with new and more interesting builds to get further and further. If I said that mozzarella tomato thing looks so yummy. Yeah, that's Italian caprese salad. I'm hoping this year we have a better warm season where I live, so that my cherry tomato plants actually gets me more cherry tomatoes, because that's what I use to make that dish. I get fresh mozzarella from the store, and my garden I also grow basil. So when I make caprese salad, all I need to do is buy the cheese, and everything else just comes from my garden. Okay, let's get Blizzard. This freezes enemies in a big radius. Move to Death Valley. There, it's hot. That's too hot for me. I don't like constant hot weather. I actually like cooler weather, but where I live, we have cool weather, but pretty hot summers. And so from mid to late spring through summer, when it's hot, that's a good season for growing things. Fingers crossed we have a good season for pepper plants. My habanero plant is doing alright. It's still alive, but it's just sitting inside right now. And then when it gets hot, I'll put it outside and it should start sprouting more leaves and branches and flowers and get peppers. Oh yeah, I've heard that Germany has kind of moderate weather, right? Nothing too crazy. Okay, we need to keep an eye out for bleed. This one looks like a bunch of spikes. There it is. lucky. This one lets us evolve to get Hemorrhage. Hemorrhage inflicts the bleed ailment. And when enemies have 12 or more stacks, then it consumes them to hit them for 20%. Kind of similar to the way Overgrowth racks up stacks of the ailment and then it pops it all at once. So we can max that. And we're gonna fuse. Actually, we'll fuse this Flash and Hemorrhage because Hemorrhage is the stronger of the two. And then if we get Light, once we free up a slot, we'll try and get another Flash and then freeze it, or combine it with Blizzard. That'll be kind of our end goal. I see hotter summers every year. Yeah, I have noticed there are summers where I live on the west coast here. I've been getting systematically hotter, but we had a late summer season last year, so it was a bit shorter for gardening season, but it's okay. We'll see how it looks this year. Whoops. Damage is going to scale higher up as we go too, so we need to be careful. I see. So normally weather starts to become warmer once March comes around. It's still relatively cold where I live. I might be at risk of getting snow at the beginning of the week because I live in the mountains. Which is annoying. I don't mind the snow, but I gotta drive in it. And that's not fun. Okay, so we want to fuse Flash and Hemorrhage, which applies its bleed debuff in a big stack, or big radius to the enemies on screen. That's what we want. Okay, and we need to keep an eye out for another lightning. Yeah, the higher elevations isn't bad, except when it's winter weather, because driving in snow is fairly challenging. I'm not good at it by any means. And I have a long commute. My job is not close to where I live, so it's difficult when it's snowing. Alright, so we need to evolve Flash, and then we're going to fuse Flash with Blizzard, and then repeat the whole thing over again, and try and see what else we can get. Let me get Mosquito. Mosquito could be fun. We're at 126 meters depth so far. None of these. I want to take. We'll wait. Wait till we free up another slot. Actually, not. I should just re-roll. We need to max out Flash and fuse it with Blizzard. It's getting expensive though. Going through the driver's license process, huh? That's a good thing to have. Oh, it's a lot of damage. Blizzard plus Flash. So now we can freeze things in a large radius. That's good. And now what I need to do is I need to get the next Flash. Oh, we're not going to be able to do Mosquito. We can only have 4 because we're going to run out of spots. Okay. That's going to be tough. And expensive. Okay. If we get a fusion reactor when we have all of our upgrades maxed, we'll just pick fission. And instead of giving random levels, fission will give us gold. And then we'll have to re-roll until we get what we want. Oh, do you like the music? The music is from a royalty-free playlist. This isn't the actual in-game music for Ball Pit. Ball Pit's soundtrack is really good. I've just been playing it for so long, and listening to it, I wanted to switch things up. But it's got good music. This royalty-free playlist is like chiptune, video gamey type music. I didn't know you play Genshin. I was just talking to a friend of mine last night about all the different Hoyoverse games. I don't play any of them. I don't have the time or money to get into them, but a bunch of my friends and people I know play like Genshin or Honkai or Zenless. It's a deep rabbit hole, right? To reroll. We need lightning or light. I should just pick a passive. Is pressure valve really worth it? Alright, we'll just take it and fill the slot. Lightning. No lightning. Ah, I see. Yeah, I could see trying to play multiple Hoyoverse games, just monopolizing your time. Or money. I know some people that are not free to play on those games, and they have sunk a considerable amount of cash into them. That's another reason why I don't want to get into any more gacha-based games. See pressure valve going off when enemies die, they explode. It's not a huge amount of damage. Oh, I see. Yeah, I know what it's like to be the free-to-play person in like a group that actively spends money, and then they'll get really mad at your luck because they were shelling out tons of money for pulls, but then you'll just get one of the rare things without having to pay. A bunch of my friends play Uma Musume too, and I hear them talking about stuff like that all the time. It's another one that I think I would probably like, but I just can't afford to get into it. Be careful. The enemies will eventually be strong enough to one-shot me. We're at almost 300 meters of depth. And still doing decent damage. Mini bosses are going down pretty quickly. The only gacha-based game I play now is Raid, but I haven't spent money on it in 5 years. I've been free to play. And I still enjoy the game. It's very grindy. I know people like to trash Raid a lot, but I just play it on my own terms. Don't spend money on it. Oh, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's Raid Shadow Legends. You know, the one that sponsors a lot of content creators. It's been around for a while. I started playing in 2021. But I've been playing it for so long that I don't need to spend money on it. I have enough of the different currencies to pretty much do whatever I want. Which is the whole point of why I want to play games like that and then eventually be free to play. I spent some money on in the beginning, but not a ton. There are some larger, not whales, maybe more minnows in my clan that spend a lot of money per month on it. Can't do it. That might be one of the longest mobile gacha-based games I've played. The last one before that I played for a while was Epic 7. Epic 7, and before that was Brave Frontier. Both gacha games, kind of more like JRPG type gacha games. Epic 7 was good. I definitely enjoyed that one. I spent a decent amount on it for a while, and then went free to play like I normally do. Let's see. We need lightning. Still need lightning or light. Bias, what was the first video game you ever played? Okay, you might not remember because it's been a while, but I am very old. So the first video game I ever played was Galaga. It was Galaga in the 80s, when video games were still relatively new. An old arcade in a bowling alley. Galaga. Yes, I am very old. Haven't been around since before video games were invented, but pretty close. They were still very new when I started playing them. Says you seem really young. Oh, thank you. I wish. 23 to 26. Oh no. Oh no. Definitely not. I have coworkers that are around 23 to 26. And they make me feel like an old grandpa sometimes. But it's really more of a mentality. Yeah, physically, I wake up some days and things feel like they're going to fall off. But I try and stay as young mentally as possible. Ah, you're saying I don't have like the old man, like gravelly chain smoker voice? Well, I don't smoke, so that's probably why. Plus, if I was up here trying to be a VTuber in the scene, and I was, you know, like, oh, today we're playing ball pit. Oh, my hip's acting up again. I don't think I'd really get much of an audience. I think people would be scared, and they'd run away. Get off my lawn! Please stop like that in the future. Whenever I have to give a voice to like an old character, I generally do that's my old man voice. Okay, let's try and re-roll. We stacked up a lot of levels. That's why it says 25 over here. Nice, lightning. Now we need light. If I said, I gotta say though, sometimes I'm thinking you're older than my parents, which is crazy to think my parents will just not try out video games. Oh, you can't force them. If they're really not interested and it wasn't kind of part of their interests when they were younger. That doesn't mean like older people don't get into games, but chances are you're not going to be able to change their mind, right? My parents aren't really gamers at all. My father plays slot machine games on his phone because he can get perks for things in Las Vegas whenever my parents go to visit Las Vegas. But other than that, they don't really play serious games. My mother is into, well, actually both my parents are into Duolingo and trying to learn languages with the Duolingo app. That's kind of what they do. Well, look at overgrowth proc. It's actually causing things to lag a little bit. If I ask, speak any other language than English? I don't speak another language fluently, but I've studied Japanese. So the only other language I speak with a moderate amount of competency is Japanese. I was a lot better at it when I was taking the language. I took it for 4 years in school, eons ago. So if someone speaks to me in Japanese, then I can kind of communicate, but if I have to read or write it, I can't really do that anymore. Spanish would be a good guess because I live in the United States and there's a lot of Spanish-speaking people here, but no, I don't speak Spanish. I picked up a little when I worked in the kitchen, but I know a little bit of American Sign Language too, but it's been even longer since I studied that, so mostly just Japanese. Pi says, you have a voice pitch that would match Spanish? Oh, you think so? I used to live in the South, so it's lucky that I don't have a Southern accent. Otherwise, that would be probably the most obvious. Yeah, Japanese is great. It is a challenging language. Not unlike German. One of my coworkers speaks fluent German, and I know it's a pretty challenging language. She actually just went back there with her family to visit earlier in the year. She said it was a lot of fun. Okay, we need light. There it is. Nice. That's lucky. And I can stockpile some gold with all of our extra levels. When we have all the maxed out upgrades, we can't upgrade anything anymore. The game will give me options for gold, wheat, stone, or wood, which is used to upgrade our buildings back in the town. Phi says, what's in the South? I'm sorry, my geography knowledge about America is dead. Oh no, that's okay. There's a lot in the South, but specifically I used to live in Texas, which is at the bottom of the United States, right above Mexico, right on the border. But that was a long time ago. I've been on the West Coast for a while. I don't talk about which state I live in, but it's on the West Coast. Alright, we'll just cash in all our levels to get gold. Now we can evolve our next flash and figure out what we're going to combine it with. Maybe a leech. We're at 518 meters depth now. I think my record is like maybe 1600. So we'll see if we can get the record this time. Okay, evolve. Get flash. Level it up. You can see really high damage numbers. Procking. I think it goes higher than 9999. It just only displays 4 digits. Fi says people from Texas have an accent. Oh, very noticeable. Southern. There's different types of American Southern accents, but if you're talking to people from Texas, a lot of times it'll sound kind of like the words are leaning over a little bit. They have a deep Southern drawl. They say y'all a lot. Y'all want to go down to the rodeo? Check out the horses? Maybe go down and get a drink later? That is very much more like a Southern Texas accent. Alright. Grab level. I didn't want to grab that quite yet. Young Sheldon, Georgie vibes. Yeah, I don't remember where that show takes place because I've never watched it, but similar. It might be Texas. I just don't know because I don't follow the show at all. But yes, very, very similar type of accent. So you get it. People on the West Coast they have a more pitch neutral accent. I studied linguistics for a while. Compared to like a New York East Coast accent. And so for people on the East Coast, West Coast sounds different. And then likewise for people on the West Coast, hearing an East Coast accent sounds different. And you get something like, New Yorkers like, hey, I'm walking here, forget about it. Very stereotypical New Yorker accent, or Jersey. Or you get something like New England, Boston area. Hey, get away from my car. A friend of mine's from Boston. He says car or coffee. Oh, okay. They took place in East Texas. I asked, what didn't I do? I've never been a doctor. Okay, where are we at now? 597? About 600 meters. Need one more ball to fuse with flash. Let's see if we can get vampire. Oh, there it is. Vampire has a chance to leech health on hit, so it can heal us, which is handy as things start being able to nearly one-shot us if we're unlucky enough to get hit. Oh, I see why you're asking. Well, when I studied Japanese, linguistics was part of my program when I studied Japanese. That's why. I didn't study it separately. I had to take linguistics courses while I was studying Japanese. That's why. And I found linguistics to be very interesting. Okay, we're going to fuse Flash and Vampire. And then we can get one more ball, kind of just a free one. Fi says, you might be older than my grandpa if you've done that much. I don't really want to think about that. So let's just not assume I'm older than your grandfather so that I can go to sleep tonight and not cry. I guess we can go fire. Doesn't really matter. Fi says, you just seem really dang smart, respectfully. Seem is the important thing there. I will be the first to tell you I'm not really a book smarts person. I am not good at math and science. When I was in school, I spent plenty of time failing at math and science. Most of the stuff I learned is a lot more life smarts than academic smarts. Hi says, isn't Raku alien like 773,000 years old? No. I'm actually a normal age alien. I've just been on this planet since 2001. I really do need to draw whole mold form for my model. That was going to be my next model for a bit, but I opted to have a redesign of the actual Anime Boy one, and I think it turned out better. How old do Homeworlders live? Homeworlders live, I'd say, about 25% longer than humans. So not like elves, they don't live for like hundreds and hundreds of years. But I'd say it's not unusual to see 135-year-old Homeworlders if they are healthy. I said, did you just assume I could do math? I don't know your life. I suck at math. But if, let's just say, a healthy human will live, if they take really good care of themselves, they can live to be about 100. That's why I said about 25% or more. Oh, don't worry, I'm pretty bad at math. When I had to study calculus, it was not easy. I'm thankful I have a job that does not require complex math. My thing was, in order to get through math classes, and I don't know if this really helps you, but I had to find someone who could explain what I was doing in a way that made sense to me. Because if I tried to force myself to understand something that didn't make sense, then it was just like hitting your head against a wall. And that can be challenging to have a professor or tutor or teacher think of a way to explain something differently than what they're used to, because not everybody thinks the same way. Ah, no one knows what's going on. Sounds like the American school system. Okay, these levels will just get money. At this point, we have our build fully done. Well, not fully done. We need to fuse. Nope, never mind. I'm wrong. We did fuse everything. Our build's fully finished. So now we just need to go for the record. And we'll see how long that takes. It is legitimately endless. Usually, from what people have said, if you keep going, sometimes the game can lag out. So if it looks like the game is starting to look like it might crash, then I'll end the run. But I want to see if I can get to 2,000. And so we might be sitting here just kind of chatting, because I don't really have to think about much other than making sure I don't run into the enemies and die. We've got all of our upgrades, all of our passives and everything. So now it's just keeping an eye on the enemy waves and making sure they're dying and not filling up the screen. If we have enough time, we can do another run with a different set of characters, and I can show kind of a different build. Because this is just one that I'm testing out that I learned from Ball Pit YouTuber. There's other different combinations and things that kind of revolve around the abilities of the characters themselves. Fi says I'm amazed by the fact that you were a cook. It's been a while since I've talked about it, but it comes up every once in a while. It was a very difficult, physically demanding job, but I learned a lot of useful things that made it good for later on when I was no longer a cook and I needed survival skills, because if you like to eat, you either learn how to cook or have a partner that cooks, or you're going to spend a lot of money going out to eat. And in today's economy, spending a lot of money on going out to eat is not really that sustainable in a lifestyle, you know? I said, especially because I see way too many people from America cook on TikTok. I'm traumatized. They're definitely out there. A lot of my short form content, I don't have TikTok, but I watch shorts on YouTube. a lot of my feed on YouTube Shorts is food content. Learning how to cook different recipes. I try and look for healthy recipes to cook instead of just like, you know, really high calorie stuff. But kind of a mix. Oh, believe me, I have seen some abominations of people cooking stuff. And, you know, no judgment, but some of the recipe combinations are pretty crazy and wouldn't be something that I would do. But hey, if that's what people like, we can't really judge them. Well, we can judge them, but maybe we shouldn't. Oh, are you talking about like either canned or pre-prepared food that are just being kind of like mashed together? Yeah, I've seen those. Those can be kind of creative, we'll say. Oh boy, that was an actual enemy. See, what gets me, and I see it come across my feed sometimes, it's not like the weird or kind of unusual cooking recipes. It's when people are talking about like food safety stuff and it's just blatantly wrong information. That really bothers me to see. Like when people talk about washing their raw chicken with like soap, that makes me want to jump out of a window when I see that. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know anybody personally who does that, but I've seen videos of people saying, make sure you wash your chicken with soap. Don't do that. That does not prevent food poisoning or foodborne illness. And in fact, it's even more dangerous because when you're washing something raw, you can aerosol disperse all of the contaminants in the area you're cooking in. It's way more dangerous. Instead, you have to cook things to the proper temperature. Washing raw meat does nothing. Absolutely nothing. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. That's a thing. Again, I don't know anybody personally who does that, but I've seen videos of people on like TikTok or Shorts saying, oh yeah, make sure you wash your chicken so you don't get food poisoning. No, that it will not prevent food poisoning. And in fact, it will make it more likely that you do get food poisoning. Oh, I didn't know you were a vegetarian. Nothing wrong with that, but yeah, stuff like that. Or people, another one that's a little bit less like a food handling and just like a weird food preparation choice. It was when people rinse their ground beef after they cook it. I saw that one on Shorts eons ago now. But someone was preparing ground beef or mince, and after they finished cooking it, the ground beef, they drained it and then they rinsed it under water after it was cooked. That's insane. That's freak behavior. I do not endorse that. You can drain the oil. There's nothing wrong with draining the oil, but rinsing it like in a colander under running water after the ground beef has been cooked, that's madness. That should put you on a list somewhere. You know, honestly, I don't know if it's a common sense issue. I don't know. It's either like ignorance, misinformation, or rage bait. It could be rage bait too. Almost 1,000 meters. We're doing good. Oh yeah, it would be very successful rage bait for sure. So many in the comments are people pissed off saying, "What are you doing? You're creating food abominations," which might be the intent. We don't know. Just saying, don't wash your raw meat. Period. And if you wash your cooked meat, that's weird. But that's really more the minority of things that I see on like my short form content feed. Usually the recipes I get are really good and interesting. A lot of high protein, low carb stuff. A lot of different international types of foods. You know, I don't know where the idea to do some of these things comes from. Again, maybe it's miseducation. Maybe it's purely just rage bait. Who knows? Vi says, see, that's why I'm going to the grocery store as soon as I'm in America. I want to see what you guys have. Yeah, there's a lot of America unique products and things that you probably wouldn't see in Europe. Be prepared for a lot of the things you buy off the shelf to be higher portion size. And it's kind of a myth that it's just because Americans eat more. That's true. But a lot of the reason why you see things like snacks and other types of products off the shelf in really large quantities is because it's meant to be economically efficient for like large families and large groups of people. Like a family size is meant to feed like 5 to 7 people in a lot of cases, as opposed to just one. And so when you see large product sizes, that's why. Like, I don't buy family size things. This is something that I just don't want to have to replace right away. Yeah, if anything, the prices might traumatize you because our economy is going through a lot of challenges right now. So the cost of things in the States, food-wise, is higher than it's been historically. I will not go into the political reasons why that is, but you can probably guess. Oh, man. Okay. So that was just an enemy projectile and that took like almost 50% of my health. I am definitely not a fan of it because there are a lot of things that are going on that have made my life more difficult. Maybe not to the point where I'm on the street, of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this. But definitely not easier. I would like to travel some more, but it might be a little bit. I think since I've talked to you, I went to Japan in 23 for the first time, and then I took my folks there for the first time in 24. I would like to go back to Japan. There's so much I haven't seen there yet. It's a really cool country. Oh no, if I was on the street, I would probably have to sell all this stuff just so I could eat. Or I would be begging for donations and asking people to donate bits and subs or whatnot. And I don't want to do that. I would just as soon stop streaming than beg people for money. I don't want to do that. Okay, we're at 1,028 meters. And so far the game's not lagging out. So let's see if we can get to 2K. We might go for the record instead of doing another run. We'll see. If I ask, does America have a lot of homeless people though? It depends where you go, but I would say in general, yes. Where I work, in the city that I work, which is not where I live, but where I work, there's a decent amount of homeless people. Not around my office, but nearby. To be a little bit careful. Like, they don't cause problems, but they're around. And what you'll probably hear from people in America is that the social programs to help people that are suffering from homelessness or job difficulties or whatnot, the social programs aren't good. That's why there's a homeless problem. Between the social programs not being very good and mental health support not being very good, that's what contributes to a lot of that in the States. I know in a lot of like European and from what I've seen Asian countries, the social programs are better. And so homelessness, oh come on, still exists, but I think there's more tools to kind of reduce and work with the people to keep them from ending up like that. America, that's one of the big flaws in America. It's been like that a while. No country's perfect, obviously, but it's challenging sometimes. Yeah, I don't know much about things in Germany, but a lot of what we hear from the European countries is kind of what we kind of compare to what's going on in America, right? Every country has its challenges. Okay, let's cash our levels out, stack up money. 15,000 coins, which is really good. Another reason why I want to do these endless runs is to get a lot of coins for unlocks and stat boosts and stuff. Oh, there's elections going on where you're at. Voting is important. Might not seem like it, but it is important. Ah, gotcha. State and local elections are just as important as the ones at the higher level, too. Big elections coming up for America in the fall, midterms. Could affect a lot of what happens in this country. We'll see. Yeah, so you're talking about like the top of the state and local stuff in your immediate state. We have those too. We have like governors, state governors, and we have senators, people that sit in American Congress and whatnot. And the elections all happen at different times. Out of sync with the presidential election cycle. That's every 4 years. When was the last presidential election? 24. Yeah, time definitely flows differently now. So the next presidential election is 2028. We will see what happens between now and then. Almost 1,200 meters. Getting a little bit of a lag when all of the damage procs are going off at once. The green is overgrowth. But I think it's still yellow damage numbers, even though the effect is green. It's kind of hard to tell. Usually at this point, the mini-bosses aren't dying as fast. They are dying, which is good. The HP scaling is very high this late in the endless run. Vi says it's actually interesting hearing stuff about America from you, because I usually just Google research or TikTok news. Not an actual American I can ask anything. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I don't have all the answers, but if you have questions about American stuff outside of like all of the politics specific stuff, then you know I have no problem answering those questions. There's some members of our community that are from Europe. A handful of people I can think of off the top of my head are local here in the States. There's actually a surprising amount of Canadians that came from the Toxicure community, just by coincidence. And then some folks in Europe, I don't have a ton of community members from Asia, at least not ones that are popping by regularly. Enemies are taking longer to drop. It's a little bit of concern. What do you mean by walls? Oh, in our housing? I guess I don't have really a frame of reference for like the architecture overseas. But I can see that. You know why that is? It's because a lot of American housing is prioritizing lower cost, so that the building companies don't have to spend as much money, but still charge the full amount. That's why. That's why you see lower quality construction in some places, and when you're buying property, at least I know when I had to do it, that's why inspections are so important, to make sure someone's not cutting corners and putting up cheap construction. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. Going through inspections and appraisal stuff for buying property is tedious. I hope I don't have to go through that for a while. Plus the housing market in America, which I'm sure you've seen on the news. That's not anything that's a big revelation, but the housing market in America for buying property is kind of bananas. It's stupid. I got lucky. I bought my property in 2018 before things went real south. And if I hadn't done it then, I might not have had a chance, and I'd be stuck. Have I ever punched a hole in a wall? No. I've never been that upset or had a reason to. When I was renting, in places I've rented, I'd have to pay for it if I did that. And or break my hand, and then have to pay for that. And you know American healthcare, or have heard about American healthcare. Ain't cheap. Almost 20K, that's a lot of gold. Well, if it makes it feel better, American healthcare is everybody's nightmare. It's kind of crazy. If I didn't have good healthcare coverage for my job, it would be a nightmare. And it is for a lot of people for that very reason. Yeah, if there wasn't a good, like, universal or nationwide healthcare for people that suffer from chronic illness, it would be bad. And there are a lot of people in America that don't have that coverage, and they have to figure out a way to pay for it. It's not good. It's one of the biggest flaws of our particular societal structure. I don't know how you fix it, but it's definitely a problem here. Fi says, what are pro reasons for America? That's a good question. I would say one of the pros of being in America is the cultural diversity. No matter where you go in the country, East Coast, West Coast, North, South, central part of the country, you're going to always be around diverse cultures, people coming from different places, and it's not, just like one type of culture, ethnicity, nationality, etc. It's very diverse. And so you learn a lot about people and the differences and where they come from and what they're about and their culture. And I think that's really good. Another thing I would say, even though it might not seem like it sometimes, especially right now, Americans have a lot of freedoms compared to certain other countries. And I'm thinking more ones that have like really restrictive governments. The idea of freedoms that you always hear Americans talking about, right? You know, more freedom. It's true. We'll see what happens with people running the country right now, but in general, there are a lot of freedoms in America. That's kind of why it was designed, right, back in the day. Another pro for America, as a result of like the diversity of culture and all that, might seem like kind of a trivial thing to mention, but I do think it's important. Food. There is a lot of really good food in America. Don't worry about all the crazy stuff you see on TikTok with like, you know, insane recipes and all that. When you get actually down to like just walking around in different spots, there's so many opportunities for good food from all different places. You've never tried burritos? Mexican food is delicious. There's a good street taco place where I live. It's run by kind of just like a mom and pop Mexican family. They do great street tacos. As far as Raising Cane's, I've never been to a Raising Cane's because they don't really exist on the West Coast that much. I heard one opened up somewhere in my state, but not near where I live. I was talking to a coworker about that yesterday. I'd try it. I've heard their sauce is really famous. Burritos are Germanized, so like made with sausage. All right, where are we at? 14, 18 meters. We'll keep going. Let's try and get as close to 2K as possible. I do have to eventually take off for the day. I see. Just not authentic. We've talked about it before on stream. My favorite type of food is probably Japanese. I know how to cook a bunch of different Japanese type dishes, but I really like sushi and a bunch of other types of quote-unquote traditional Japanese dishes. And there's a handful of good places here, but after going to Japan, it's kind of hard to compare now. What else is there? And American food, like historical American food, barbecue is a thing from the South. Really good Southern barbecue, and each region of the United States in the South does barbecue a little different. So like Texas barbecue is different from like Tennessee or Kentucky or other parts of like the South. They all have their own sort of unique spins on barbecue. But yeah, really good barbecue, slow cooked smoked meats. Very good. They don't really have a lot of places that do it justice where I live because I'm on the West Coast. But when I lived in Texas, that was definitely a thing that a lot of places were famous for. Slow cooked cuts of meat. I know you're a vegetarian, so barbecue is kind of probably out for you. But let's see. What other types of unique American food would be vegetarian friendly? There's a lot of American spins on things like Italian food, which I know is probably sacrilege to people from Italy. Yeah, brisket is a slow-cooked beef. It's a cut of beef. It's slow-cooked and smoked for like sometimes more than a day. And when you eat it, it's very soft and just kind of falls apart, but it's full of flavor from the slow cooking and smoking. It's hard to do. It's easy to screw up because If you're not careful with the temperature, it can overcook and come out very tough or dry. But good smoked brisket is phenomenal. It's very, very, very tasty. You have another kind of unique Asian, American rather, type of food is Cajun. Cajun or Creole food is common from the state of Louisiana. And it's a type of southern French-inspired cuisine. And that's where you get things like gumbo, jambalaya, a lot of seafood, crawfish, shrimp dishes, etouffee. That's Cajun. Cajun is great. I've been to New Orleans, which is in Louisiana. It's where Mardi Gras typically happens. And yeah, Cajun food is very, very tasty. A lot of flavor. I'll think of another type of American culture food that is more unique is Hawaiian. I have family from Hawaii, and like, Hawaiian Polynesian food culture is different from like the rest of the United States. So kind of a lot of, again, seafoods and other types of dishes. Hawaiian food's great. It's not probably the most low calorie and healthy, but it is delicious. If you've ever heard of poke, that comes from Hawaii. Poke is raw fish that's chopped up and tossed with like soy sauce, sesame oil, maybe some onions, and tossed together to create like a flavored raw fish used as a side. Poke is delicious. Oh, that's not a stupid question. Yeah, they grow a lot of pineapple in Hawaii, so you see it just as like a fruit dish. They make stuff with it too. Pineapple and coconut, pretty common in Hawaiian food. You'll also get mango or papaya, two other types of fruits grown trees there. Guavas, passion fruits, really good fruits in Hawaii, actually. On like the more tuber or vegetable side, they like taro. Real common to get taro. That's what they use to make poi, which is like a mashed taro paste. Vi says maybe I should move there. I'd be so happy. I love fruit. Hawaii's great. It's expensive though, but if you ever get the chance to travel there to visit, it's a great place. Hawaiian people are very nice. Their culture is very welcoming. I haven't been back there in a while. Last time I went there was in 2023. So yeah, overall, those are just some examples. I'm sure if I think hard, I could probably think of some more. But there's a lot of like cultural food diversity in America, either from other parts of the world that have come here, or that are, you know, from American culture. Kind of just depends. $15.88. Okay, let's keep going. Keep asking me questions so I have something to talk about. Because gameplay wise, I'm just trying to stay alive and making sure my damage is high enough to kill things. So it might not be the most exciting things that are going on gameplay wise, because I'm just killing waves and waves of enemies, but that's what Endless Mode's about. Ooh, my favorite fruit. That's a good question. I really like berries, so I'm gonna say strawberries. It's kind of tough. Like, I don't want to say strawberries by a country mile at the very top of the list, but definitely up there. I like strawberries, cherries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, boysenberries, loganberries. I would say definitely more ripe than less ripe strawberries. Underripe tends to be kind of tart, which is good for cooking. But if I'm eating them straight up, I like, you know, medium to fully ripe strawberries. Pineapple is good. I like oranges. I've been trying to eat more fruit so I can, you know, consume less processed sugar. Pineapple, apples are alright. I tend to cook with apples more than just eating them raw. Oranges, I like the small Satsuma mandarin types, like the little ones. Pomegranate, I hardly ever eat pomegranate, but I do like it. If we're talking like more of the Asian fruits, I do like lychee, or lychee depending on where you're from, they call it. Bananas I like, I just don't eat them very often because they're kind of high in sugar. But bananas are good. I do like to make things with tomatoes, as you saw. Tomatoes are a fruit. They're considered a fruit. I like avocado. Avocados are fruits too. Yeah, lychee's great. I remember the Asian markets around here used to sell the lychee jelly cups, and then I think they got banned because some kids choked on them way back in like the 2000s. But fresh lychee is great. It's great as a topping on desserts. Passion fruit's good. In Hawaii, they call that lilikoi. Guava is good. I like mangoes. Papayas are okay. They have a more distinct flavor. Starfruit. Starfruit is really good. That's a bit more rare. Dragon fruit. Dragon fruit's good. I've never tried fresh durian. That's the spiky one that smells really bad. I've had durian candy. Did not like it. It has a very strange, unique taste that I did not vibe with. Let's see, other citruses. I like lemons and limes, but I tend to use their juice and things more than, like, I don't eat them straight up. Don't like grapefruits, and I actually can't take grapefruits right now because I'm on a certain type of medication, and you can't drink grapefruit juice. But citruses are good. Ooh. I have a bot. First one of the day. I'm surprised it took this long. Get out of your butt. Yeah, I don't know why certain medications don't play well with grapefruit. It's probably something in the chemical compounds that cause them to not play well together. But I didn't like grapefruit to begin with. I find it a little bit too bitter, so I won't usually eat things or drinks that have grapefruit in it just because I don't like the bitterness. Well, let's see. What other fruits are there? I'm trying to think if I missed any berries. Oh, kiwis are good. I don't eat kiwis that often, but when they show up in like fruit salads or things, I don't have a problem with kiwis. They're kind of an unusual fruit, but they have a unique texture and flavor, which I don't mind. Okay, 1748. I think we've passed the depth record on endless mode. So let's see if we can go for a tough to beat record. I won't have time to do another full run start to finish, but I do plan on streaming Ball Pit some more because I just like playing around with some of these nutty builds. I see. You like... So do you prefer the kind of more firm and slightly tart fruits before they're fully ripe? I see. That's valid. I think I tend to go for more fully ripe. But I gravitate towards sweet things more than sour, so that's definitely why. Like I have a thing of pineapple in the fridge I bought at the beginning of the week that I'm going to turn into sorbet, but I hope it's still good. It's going to be very, very ripe because pineapple's normally sweet on its own. And hopefully it's still good. I'll have to check it tonight. I did 3 sorbets this week. I've tried 1. I did strawberry sorbet. I have watermelon sorbet that I haven't made yet. And then I'm going to do pineapple. I'll probably test the watermelon one tomorrow. And freeze the pineapple one tonight. Oh, I see. The strawberry sorbet turned out well. I think it needed a little bit more of a sweetener to it. It was a little more kind of sour. You would probably like it. And those were just regular, right? Fresh strawberries. Strawberries, lemon juice, a little bit of honey, some water. I bought a monk fruit sweetener to use. I'm going to try that next time and see if I can get maybe a little bit sweeter. 1806, alright. Just ship you a crate of sorbet, huh? I've been experimenting with making ice cream. Recently got one of those Ninja Creamy appliances. So I'm going to be attempting to do strawberry ice cream tonight. Take that over for dessert for my folks. I will report back on how that turns out. Maybe I'll put a picture in the Discord channel for how it turned out. What ice cream is gorgeous? I can imagine, but... bananas. Yeah, I think I want to try doing a banana sorbet at some point. But you're talking about like a banana plus cream type of ice cream, yeah? It does sound good. Whoa, that was good. Yeah, I had this idea for kind of like a Dole Whip pineapple ice cream. I think I'm just going to do a straight up sorbet, but I thought about mixing pineapple with like a little bit of milk and vanilla pudding mix. So you'll get like the fruit and the kind of creamy flavor. But I think I'm going to look up a Dole Whip recipe instead of just trying to, experiment. That I might do next. I think I'm going to use the pineapple I have to make straight up sorbet and just try and get the flavor right. But yeah, we'll see how the ice cream experiment goes. I'm trying to learn how to make lower calorie, healthier ice cream compared to the stuff you buy at the store. So like less refined sugar and just like natural things, and maybe try and boost protein. So that's what I'm kind of experimenting around with right now, because I don't normally eat a lot of ice cream, but that's mostly because I just don't like buying it. If I asked, are you a health guy? I've definitely been focusing a lot on health, more so for the past year, but I've always been kind of health conscious. Stay active, exercise, but I've had to kind of tweak some diet stuff over the last year or so. So that's why I've been messing around with how to make better changes to diet. Because you can always make changes. I wouldn't say I eat poorly. cut down on fast food, stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. I've always kept up on exercise. I don't go to the gym, but I do home workout stuff. And just kind of keep an eye on what I eat. That's why I like to cook, because then I can be in more control over what I'm eating instead of going places or eating fast food, which is not good for you, right? Oh. So, just keep working at it is my goal. Over the last six plus months, I've lost almost 20 pounds, which I have to convert what that is to kilograms for Europe measurements, but still got a long way to go. Here, I'll do it right now. Right now, let's just say 17. About 8 kilograms-ish. Still got a ways to go in my eyes. Oh, thanks. I've been working at it. I think the key is eating more protein. That's why I'm trying to kind of work more protein into the different things I eat. Especially good because I like desserts, so that's why higher protein ice cream but lower like sugars and carbs is just good in general. And that's an easy change to make because you can make stuff with higher protein taste good. Okay. Alright, we're definitely going to hit 2K, and then I'm going to need to wrap up the stream soon. But this combination is crazy. And we could probably go up to like 5,000 meters in depth on endless mode with this, because even this late into the run in endless mode, all the other builds that I've done would be struggling to kill everything quickly. But the scaling with overgrowth and everything is just nuking all the waves. This is easily the highest damage build I've done so far. And I learned this from, I think his name's Matzel. There's a YouTuber who covers Ball Pit. He has a lot of really neat character and ball combinations. I see. There's dietary restrictions on the protein. Protein pudding sounds good. I've seen some instant pudding mixes that kind of promote themselves as being higher protein. I've never actually looked at them. I bought regular ones for my ice cream experiments. It's also kind of surprising that the overall game performance with this build, it sometimes chugs a bit when it's trying to proc all of the things at once, but it hasn't actually frozen. I've done a couple of runs where I've had other builds where there's so much on the screen that the game just starts to lag to the point where it can crash. And this build doesn't do that, so that's good. Okay, we surpassed 2K. Over 2,000 meters. That's awesome. 37,000 gold. That's also really good for unlocks. Experiments sound like you're trying to make yourself Frankenstein. Well, they're not always going to be successful. I will not be shy about telling you folks when one of my experiments doesn't work out well. But that's the fun thing about cooking. Very rarely is it so catastrophic that it's, you know, something you can't eat. But I've definitely had things I've tried that I probably wouldn't do again because I wasn't happy with the results. I have not made apple sorbet. That is one I would like to try. There's a type of apple that's usually in season throughout the year here in the States called Honeycrisp, which is a larger red apple that's very juicy and is sweet. Like a pureed or processed Honeycrisp would make a very good sorbet. I'm assuming you'd have to blend it to get it into a really kind of loose consistency. Maybe thin it with lemon juice or something to counterbalance the sweetness, and then just freeze it. I'm probably going to go through all the major fruit types for sorbet and figure out which one is my favorite. I would like to do a lemon sorbet, so it's probably going to be more like almost like a lemonade, but with fresh lemon. Lemon lime sorbet would be good. Orange, like an orange citrus sorbet would be good. You have to kind of blend and strain it so you don't get a lot of the pulp and the membranes from the insides of the orange. But yeah, especially when we get to the warmer season and frozen food sounds even better. I definitely plan on experimenting more with that appliance that I got. Apple cinnamon, that does sound good. Yeah, like an apple pie sorbet. Okay, I am gonna probably end the run here. Let's do 2100, and then I'm just gonna run in the enemies and let them kill me. So, overgrowth. Hemorrhage is pretty sustainable. That's what I'm learning here. It's good. Alright, there's 2100. A lot of experience. The characters themselves, after you take them in runs, yeah, the build is still doing an insane amount of damage. It's easily the strongest damage output I've seen so far. So it's good to know that that's kind of the best endurance record so far. We'll have to see if we can come close with something else. After you finish a run, each of the characters you take, whether you take one or two as a team, they level up and they have stats that they get bonuses to, and then the letter scaling shows how much the stats go up by every time they get a level. And so the characters get stronger over time, and as you play through the different levels, there's New Game Plus, where I just unlocked, which we'll go into at some point soon, where all the levels are harder, enemies are stronger, and they're more difficult to beat. And so we're still not even in like the next phase of the game yet. Let's see, Sisyphus, 15. He's only 11, 12, 13. Okay. And this, I won't go through the numbers at length, but this gives us a breakdown of our balls and our passives and our overall damage. So our highest damage far and away was Flash and Overgrowth at 129 million in damage. Yeah. You've probably seen some of the stuff I've played before, 5, but I really like games where you can tweak builds and figure out ways to make really crazy combinations. This game is really good for that. And the next game that I'm going to probably start streaming next week on the channel is not like this style of game, but it's very kind of similar as far as experimenting with builds and trying to come up with cool combinations. I won't spoil it, but if you know what I've played in the past, you could probably guess, since there's a game coming out next week that I've really been looking forward to. Okay, so let's go back to base, see what we've racked up. We'll run, harvest, get more gold, and then we will get ready to wrap for today. So these buildings cluster around the central column, the gold mines. These generate gold whenever my dudes hit them, and they bounce around. There are stat bonuses like this one, where you spend gold and other resources usually, and they'll boost stats for all of your characters. So if we spend 9100 in gold and 1300 stone, this boosts strength, which is damage, for everybody permanently. And you can just upgrade it forever, but the costs keep going up. So in order to get to the later levels where the enemies are stronger, we're going to need to upgrade the stats of all the characters that we're using. And so here's leadership, which is one of the other attack stats. This one is intelligence, 13k, it's pretty expensive. This one's endurance. We'll leave speed alone because otherwise we'll be zipping around too fast. And then dex. When we upgrade these buildings to improve our stats, they go into a construction state. And the only way to get them to build is to have the teammates bounce off them when we go into harvest mode. And this building right here causes everything around it to get constructed at once. As long as they're bouncing off of this cross-shaped building, it'll boost the builds of all of these. And once it finishes, we get the stat bonuses applied. So let's see if we can... Yep. All right, there we go. Yeah, so as you're playing through the game, you're unlocking all the different buildings and figuring out where to place them so that it maximizes their effectiveness. And then there's farms here, which I'm going to need to build at some point. That'll get you wheat right here, lumber, wood, and then stone in order to get all of our upgrades. And so you can keep upgrading stuff for a long time because the game keeps getting harder. And maybe we'll look at New Game Plus next time I stream this, and we'll see how difficult it is. But I'm going to need so much more money. So we're going to need to do more runs like that endless one and come back with 40k. And as you can see here, there are a lot of characters. Physicist is really fun. He reverses the flow of gravity, so instead of the balls falling towards you, they fall towards the back of the screen. Flagellant, whenever he's on the team, the balls bounce off the bottom instead of just disappearing and returning after they hit the bottom. Shield Bearer has a big shield in front that bounces the balls backwards whenever they hit. The Cohabs, these are 2 in a team normally, and they just shoot tons of baby balls, which you didn't even see because this character doesn't have them. So all of these different characters play differently, and they have different bonus skills. Like one, maybe we'll show this one off next time. The Radical is autopilot mode. You take this guy either on a run by himself or with someone else, and he'll just play the game. And do the run either till he beats the run or dies. And so it's completely hands-off mode. If we did that, I could just talk to you guys the whole time because he'll choose the upgrades. He'll go through the entirety of the level on his own, which is pretty fun to watch. But yeah, so the cast is pretty diverse. And again, we're talking about the art style. I really like the way they're drawn. That pixel art style is really cool. And so we will definitely be looking at more Ball Pit in the future. Now, let's see who we can raid and spread some chill vibes to. So who's online? Oh, Spectral Noct. They are online. Looks like, what are they doing? Path of Titans. Oh, I remember that one. That's the one where you have like different animals. Okay, we can go raid one of my VTuber peers, Spectral Noct. Let me go ahead and pause. And we will go to outro. And we will call that a stream for today. I mentioned this on the Discord, but just to give folks an update. Tomorrow, I will be guesting on Wazi's stream on the Toxicure channel. We'll be doing one big group drawing request session. I'll be joining a bunch of my other fellow peers that I stream with. And so it's linked in the Discord. I put it in announcements. So if you're interested in seeing absolute chaos, it's going to be at 3:30 in the afternoon Pacific time tomorrow on Wazi's channel. And it should be a fun time. I expect there to be lots of yelling. But in the meantime, thanks to all the folks who came by and hung out. Vi, it was good to see you again after all this time. I will figure out my stream schedule next week. Because of work, I primarily stream on weekends now, so I might not be back till next Saturday, but we will figure that out, and then I'll post my schedule on the Discord and on Twitter and Blue Sky when I get to it. So, in the meantime, hope everyone has a good rest of your morning, day, or evening, and I will catch you in the next one. Now let's go see how Noct is doing in Path of Titans. Catch you folks later.